Like, it feels like most of the great lords have some hubris. Gwyn had a great deal of hubris. The Witch had a lot of hubris. Seath feels more desperate than anything else. Because he fears his mortality, which is not something a dragon is supposed to experience.
Right.
He's this weird mutant. And not in a good, like, I'm an X-Man mutant, therefore I get more superpowers.
Yeah.
No, in more of a traditional mutant, like...
I have this genetic weirdness.
I have this genetic weirdness, and it's making me weaker and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys, even though they're just the same moveset as a regular Hollow, hit like fucking trucks because of the crystal shit.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, you should probably explain crystal shit.
Yeah, it's Seath the Scaleless' jizz.
Yeah.
He just got it everywhere and it's gross.
Yeah, and crystal equipment.
Yeah, so first, this guy. That guy over there that's just sitting there minding his own business is the DLC gate.
I guess you're not going for him in this footage, but we did kill him in our file.
We accidentally aggroed him in our file. No, I'm clearing things out so I don't have this jackass, like, plinking at me while I'm dealing with it.
That makes sense. And
there's the dance.
Do a little dance. Make a little love.
Power up your enemies. So, yeah, crystal stuff is tied to magic, which... Oh god, I got the train like right away in this file. I'm jealous. So, crystal is tied to sorceries and magic, and it seems to be a side effect of doing it. Like pyromancies, it's still using the user's soul in some regard, but it functions differently. Pyromancy is more raw, it's more visceral, it's more drawing directly from your soul, while sorceries is more like a channel, like a lens, which is I suppose where the crystal comes in.
Oh, okay.
So there's the broken pendant, which is the key to the DLC.
It's the key to all of this. It's a funnier character than we've had.
Yeah. It's a little funnier. Some people are a little annoyed with it. It's mildly controversial.
Yeah, it may have gone too far in a few places.
Might have gone too far. But no, the pendant gives you very vague clues that you'll only make any sense if you've been paying attention to the names of places. And not the official names, but the lore names. And like, who's from where and who's done what and blah, 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 blah. A lot of people bitched when it came out as to fucking how esoteric it is. Because you need to go back to the Darkroot Basin where we fought the Hydra.
Yeah.
Back to that little cave in the corner where we fought the Gold Crystal Golem.
Yeah.
And now there is a gateway there that if we go there, we will enter the DLC zone. Dark Souls 2 was a lot more clear about where the DLC was. Because after beating certain bosses, there are these giant fucking rooms with nothing in them, and it's practically screaming, attraction coming soon.
DLC here!
Look at this giant empty room that has a conveniently warpable bonfire. I wonder what's going to happen here.
I guess they listened.
Yeah, as the game came out, like as the DLC was coming out, yeah, by the way, it started raining outside if people can hear that. Apologies for the footage. So as the game was, like, as the DLC was coming out, when you bought the DLC, it just gave you the key in your inventory when you purchased the DLC.
Oh, yeah. I remember getting all these random crap, I think.
In Scholar, though, I can't remember if you start the game with it or if it's actually in the universe now.
Yeah, I think you start the game with it.
Yeah, a bunch of keys.
Yeah, I think so.
So how the DLC in Dark Souls 2 works is actually really cool when you figure out what's happening. When you first go to each DLC zone, there are all these weird, like tombstones. They look like these big-ass tombstones. If you put down your summon sign on these tombstones, your summon sign will be magically teleported in other people's games to a different part of the zone, which is intended for co-op play. And even if you don't own the DLC, you will be teleported to that part of the zone.
Okay.
So you can run through the DLC there.
That's interesting.
So you kind of get this sample of the DLC before you buy it.
Yeah.
Then after that, there's always this giant-ass door, and that's what the key opens. And once the DLC came out, they patched everyone's games, so as long as you were connected online and getting the update patches, you got the DLC zones. You just couldn't access them without the key.
Okay.
But you could do the optional co-op zones and run through and get the rewards for that.
Right. That's actually kind of a neat little way to do it.
Yeah. Now, granted, like everything else in Dark Souls, they didn't explain in-game, how that fucking works. But, you know, it was there, and if you knew what you were doing.
Yep. I guess you didn't have a Lloyd's Talisman on
Nope.
you.
So now we get to see what fighting one of these things looks like.
Yep.
It's fucking freaky.
Well, a little bit.
Kick the baby.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will give Dark Souls 2 over Dark Souls 1 is the mimics in Dark Souls 2 are way more unsettling.
Oh, really?
That kick gets me every time. The model doesn't change at all. They just change the animations. In Dark Souls 2, they crab walk backwards.
Nice.
So they're on all fours, but they're bent over backwards so that the mouth is always facing you. And it's like, fuck this.
It's the Japanese zombie walk.
Yeah. I was I was quitting out on that footage. So a couple of little things.
You opened the door for me.
This is Griggs. This is the character we never met.
Okay.
I thought I might never escape. I am Griggs of Vinheim,
Griggs of
the
Vinheim.
sorcerer of the school. I am much obliged for your assistance. Thanks to you, I may now resume my travels.
So, first off, apologies to people for the sudden drop in quality if you noticed that in the video.
I'm fine.
Even past Mage was an idiot,
rest a while.
and for some reason, a good chunk of the game I recorded at a different resolution. I don't know how I did that. But yeah, so a chunk of this footage is gonna be a little blown up.
I'm fine.
Apologies, it's the footage I have, and like, blah.
Besides,
So, Griggs, there is, like everything else in this fucking game, some debate because of some minor detail.
Of course. Because everything is like that in Dark Souls.
Oh good, I'm showing it off right here. So you notice, we're wearing the Sorcerer set,
Yeah.
but his is a little different.
It's a little darker.
Yeah. So, later in the game, in Sen's Fortress, there's a platform that's kind of a bitch to get to that we didn't get to in our playthrough. And that has the Black Sorcerer set. And that explains that that is for, yeah, the Black Sorcery set is for those that specialize in stealth magics and are assassins. So Griggs there is wearing the black set and is really looking for Big Hat for reasons he won't explain. So a lot of people was like, he's an assassin! Da, 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 da. But unlike fucking Haircut, Griggs never kills Big Hat under any circumstances.
Oh, okay.
And there's no cut dialogue of him being, blah ha ha ha, now I've succeeded in my evil plan.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, maybe he does specialize in stealth magic because he's a fucking coward and an idiot, not because he's an assassin.
Yeah, that could do.
So Griggs is weird.
Yeah.
All right, and here is the Gabgo Glabgalad.
Oh, wow, yeah. So we just skipped the whole Crystal Cave then.
No. This is the first.
Oh, that's right. This is, yeah.
And you may have noticed I put on a Ring of Sacrifice this time because I'm a smart boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those wondering, the elevator I passed up, yeah, I did it here too.
Yep.
This is the only fog door in the game you can go through in either direction.
Yeah.
So if you like decide, nah, never mind. On the one hand, I feel like they put that in because this is an unbeatable boss fight here. Like, even if you get his health down to 0 by like cheating and shit, he will not die. He is literally unkillable in this fight. This is supposed to lose battle. There's no way you can beat him, and it's how you're supposed to progress.
Yeah.
So I feel like the reason why they let you leave this one is because it is in fact a supposed to lose fight. On the other hand, you can't progress until you do it, and there's no hint while in here that he is unbeatable other than the fact that his HP doesn't drop.
Right.
But by the time you can hit him, you're already dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty clear.
So I don't understand. But that's why you have the Ring of Sacrifice if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, this game is just a little bit of a mess. I think that's probably why.
It is a mulligan for Demon's Souls, but it's still a fucking mess.
Yup.
So for some reason, when you die here, you get thrown in prison.
Because that he collected you.
Yes, he collected me. Best you can figure is Seath somehow figure out a way to trap souls and keep the undead from reviving.
Yeah, or like teleport them to that place instead of a bonfire if they're killed by his stuff or something.
Like he figured out a way to reset people's bonfires.
Yeah. He is in a research facility.
Yeah. So we have more of these crystal undead. So how crystal weapons work, because we did pick up a crystal weapon from one of these guys.
Yeah.
Crystal's an upgrade you can get, and crystal weapons have crazy high base damage in comparison to the regular counterparts.
Yeah.
The other that has crazy high base damage is raw, and both of these are kind of what you would use for what's called a tiny build, where you don't level up.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't have any scaling, so having low stats is kind of fine. You don't have to worry about anything with low stats if it doesn't scale.
Would make sense.
However, no one uses crystal weapons, to the best of my knowledge, ever, because they have a really, really detrimental downside. If they break, they're gone. You cannot repair the item, so it is always on a time limit, and when that degradation hits 0, it's removed from your inventory.
Yeah.
So they are super not worth it. Especially with weapons like the Claymore, which you can't farm for. They're one-of-a-kind weapons per run.
Oh, God.
So if you crystal your Claymore, I hope you can beat the game before that breaks.
Yeah.
Now, granted, weapon degradation in Dark Souls 1 is pretty light. And so we get to meet the pretty ladies again.
Yeah. They're like those creatures in D&D called Gricks.
Yeah. Kind of, it really has like a Mind Flayer vibe to it.
Yeah, I think they might be related in D&D lore.
Yeah. So, these cheeky old bastards don't want to fight the pretty ladies, because the pretty ladies will fight the snakes. The door they're heading to is locked, so essentially what they're doing is they're being these really cheeky dick waffles where they're going up to a really tiny platform where they have the advantage because they have so much poise.
Okay.
So what you really want to do is get them on these stairs or before they reach the stairs.
Wow, you just got punked.
Yeah.
You did way better in the other footage.
Yeah, because I called them before.
Not footage.
Yeah, because I called them before they got up here.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest deal in the world, especially since like the door up here is locked. And sometimes there'll be idiots and their pathfinding AI tries to bring them back down to fight you.
Yeah.
Because they're scripted to run up here when that starts playing. But once they get up there, they're back to regular AI.
Right.
So then they start being idiots.
And then they start coming after you. Yep.
Whee!
Wow. This is the dumbest fight I've seen in this whole game.
Yeah, it can get pretty stupid.
I bet those Gricks are gonna be here soon.
Yeah. So, these guys are only mildly stronger than the ones you fight in Sen's Fortress, and they don't have any different moves. So by this point in the game, the Snake Men aren't really that big of a threat.
Yeah.
And the pretty ladies here, really the only thing you need to worry about is the grab. But if you have a really good poke, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It has such a wind-up that you can just poke them to death. Which is why a lot of people really like the Claymore, because it has this big poke.
Yeah. Well, it has a lot of options, as you said.
Yeah. Like, people run with the Claymore not because it has the best stats, but because it has the best moveset.
Yeah.
The stats are actually kind of lackluster in comparison to a lot of other stuff. But, like, you could go Claymore and have the really good moveset, or you can go stuff like Butcher's Knife. Like, the best strength build weapons are the clubs, but the clubs have no options. You either have this big dumb overhead or a sweep, and that's it. You have no poke.
So it seems to me that if you've got the strength for it, you'd want to carry both the Claymore and another weapon, because you can swap between them, right?
Yes, but then you need a really high endurance.
Right.
Because both weapons apply to your equip burden.
Yeah.
And that's the part people really don't like about all the Souls games with the weapon slots, is because they all apply to your equip burden, equipping multiple weapons adds on your equip burden really high. So there really aren't a lot of good options for a secondary weapon, especially since the clubs are so fucking heavy.
Yeah. Because it seems like clubs would be good against bosses, but that's about it.
Depends on the environment, depends on what you're fighting. Clubs, like most really high-end strength weapons, are all about getting the timing down.
Right.
And there are certain weapons that it's really hard to get a good club hit on. And club weapons, for the most part, are pretty terrible in PvP.
Yeah.
Because they're so predictable. Same with the Ultra Greatswords, to the point where the only Ultra Greatsword that's really good in PvP is the Fume Ultra Greatsword.
Okay.
That's in 2 and 3, and the only reason why that is so good in PvP is because it has a move that's a combination block and strike.
Okay.
So essentially what you do with that is the two-handed heavy attack, the character, like, really quickly, like 1 or 2 frames, juts it out upside down in front of them, like slams it down almost like it's a wall, then turns around, picks it up, and swings it over their shoulder.
Okay.
And if you time the move right, that first one has quasi-parry properties. It's not a true parry that puts them in a parryable state.
Yeah.
But it is like hitting a shield.
Okay.
So it will stagger them long enough for that second to get a full overhead.
So it's kind of like a counter move.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Like, unlike true counters, you can fire it raw and you still get the overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the drop-down items. You need to navigate falling puzzles. Because for some reason, these Souls games love fall puzzles when they're really bad at fall puzzles.
Yeah, I mean, the Souls games are really well known for their platforming elements.
Yeah!
Their tight controls.
Yeah! What's funny is you're not wrong. They are fairly well known for their platforming.
Yeah.
And how fucking awful it is.
Yeah. It's like the original fucking Double Dragon, or Double Dragon 2, where they put you into these platforming segments. The first one's probably the worst because you have to press... Wait, actually, is the second one the same control scheme? You have to press A and B together to jump. So that means punch and kick together.
At the very least, Double Dragon has an excuse of...
It was old and didn't know better?
Yeah, like, there wasn't a lot like it at the time. God, they're so slimy. Yeah, and you can get up on these gears. There's no real point to it, but you can.
I mean, obviously it keeps you from getting attacked by them for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So you have time to regroup and heal and shit.
Yeah, the enemy AI in this game is not really good with verticals.
Yeah.
Unless it's an actual path. Then it's kind of hilarious. You can throw, like, get into a weird position and just watch the enemy come to you to see where the fuck the path is.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you how many times when I first started playing these games, I'd be running around like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? Kind of like you that one time we played.
Yeah.
And then I would, like, bring out a bow and arrow, piss off an enemy on a lower level, and just watch them.
Yeah.
Like, all right, where's the path?
Okay, how do I get here?
Oh, I didn't know you could climb that.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was noticing a Dark Souls lore thing. Those squidlings dropped humanity,
Yes.
and I guess that kind of tells you what they are.
To an extent. That's
Well, I
not-
suppose rats also drop humanity.
Yeah. This is one of the inconsistencies with the lore. An enemy dropping humanity can mean that they were once human, or that they ate a lot of humans.
Right.
The bigger hint comes after we turn this off, and we hear the crying. That snakeskin texture, though.
Yeah. Yeah, snakeskin draped over that giant fucking, why am I...
Gramophone?
Gramophone, that's the word.
Yeah.
I was going through... Okay, we got xylophone, we got sousaphone. God damn it.